I'm not a big fan of March. It's always been the exam month. But you know who's got 2 thumbs and no exams? This guy. So if you've got no exams to worry about, come check out what March has to offer. Rise of the Ronin has me waiting in anticipation since it was announced in December. Why, you ask? Well, firstly, the studio behind this game, Team Ninja, has always delivered on the combat front. Take the tight combat from the Neo games, for example. Now, add an open world to the mix alongside choices that shape the story, and you have something you could spend hours exploring. Yes, this is their first open world game, as opposed to their usual level-based design. I'm talking non-stop action with a custom character and new ways to traverse the world, like grappling hooks, horses, and even a glider. Surprisingly, the game has difficulty options, so you don't need to worry about being 1 or 2 tapped out of existence by enemies. Co-op is also going to be an option, so this game is stacked with promising features. This one is releasing exclusively on the PS5, by the way. Dragon's Dogma is one of my favorite open world action RPGs ever, and I was ecstatic when the sequel was announced, just like most fans of the IP. The first game had great combat features, particularly the ability to climb enemies, which was an absolute blast and made the bigger enemies really fun to fight. Most fans of the game, at least in part, wanted a slightly more expansive open world with a slight combat overhaul, and that's exactly what we're gonna get, except way more. The map is touted to be 4 times larger than the originals. The ability to make camp, executions, new skills, and a ton more. The vocations, which are basically classes, have been slightly switched up, and we can now experiment with hybrid playstyles too. The pawn system is going to be present, and for those of y'all who don't know what that is, pawns are basically a second character you create who assist you throughout your journey. They now also have new specializations. For instance, a pawn who has learned to read Elvish can translate it for you when nearby. Don't worry, it's not all action RPGs this month. WWE fans, get ready to rumble. 2K24 is here, and it brings in new features and enhancements. Expect fluider combat and new match types like special guest referee, ambulance match, casket match, and gauntlet match. You also have new weapon types like guitars and microphones alongside new camera angles, 7 new referees, and even the ability to throw weapons. The announcer table is no longer off limits. There's more though, improvements to backstage brawls, blood physics, tired finishers being reintroduced, among other things. The 4th outing in this survival horror franchise, Alone in the Dark, is actually meant to be a series reboot. This one was supposed to be released last year but has seen delays, but hey, good things can take time. It's a single player only game where you choose which protagonist you want to play as. On one hand, you get to play as Edward Carnby, who fights monsters with his beloved double-barreled revolver, and on the other, you have Aline Cedric, who's a puzzle enthusiast. There's an Alone in the Dark prologue available on the PlayStation Store if you want a taste of what's to come. Dude, a new South Park game, let's go! Unlike previous South Park games, Snow Day has real-time combat and the type of humor you'd expect from anything South Park. Now, here's the deal. School is cancelled because of a blizzard, and you, the new kid, alongside Cartman, Stan, Kenny, and Kyle are going to save the town from this winter. How? No, don't look at me, I don't know. You can play with up to 3 of your homies for some glorious 4-player co-op, and I, for one, am sold already. There have been a lot of sequels and versions of Contra, but the original one is still one of the most iconic games in the series. So instead of completely reinventing the gameplay, Contra, Operation Galuga, does a reimagining of the original game and adds quality of life changes. The old arsenal is back, including the sweet spread shot. And this time you have the option to switch between 2 weapon types and even stack them up for upgrades. The best way to play Contra is with friends, and this one has 4-player co-op. The critically acclaimed Hi-Fi Rush is now coming to the PS5. This cel-shaded action adventure has you playing as a wannabe rockstar named Chai. No kidding, that's his name. The game is amazing with rhythm-based combat where the players and enemy moves correspond to the beats in its amazing soundtrack. I really wish this game had some co-op though, with maybe a second character named Masala. Get it? Masala chai? I'll just show myself out. It's Madison on the PSVR 2. A VR headset is obviously a more immersive experience, and immersion and psychological horror are sort of a match made in heaven. In broad strokes, Madison VR is a psychological horror with survival elements where you solve puzzles, which by the way are procedurally generated, so you get immense replayability because of that. And no cheating either. Survival is what your goal is on the surface, but unveiling the truth by clicking pictures and developing them by yourself is a huge part of it. It's unsettling, creepy, extremely frightening, and just perfect for you if you happen to have a PSVR 2 and a penchant for horror. Outlast is one of the most memorable horror games I've ever played. The Outlast Trials is a survival horror game that has you avoiding and surviving against enemies that can basically clobber you with ease while completing a set of tasks as you progress the game. The game can be completed all by yourself, but you have the option to partake in 4-player co-op now. So you don't have to be terrified all by yourself. Alongside 4-player co-op, you also have 4 different classes to kind of support your teammates and play a different role in your crew's survival. You could be the healer, for example, and say your buddy could place mines to mess up any pursuer. Not for the faint of heart though. If the first 2 games are anything to go off of, you're in for a very frightening experience. But before we move on to the honorable mentions, like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hey, before you go, take a look at the free games coming to everybody with the PlayStation Plus subscription this month. Which games are you looking forward to most? Let us know in the comments. And while you're at it, do drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell just for fun. And it's your boy Palak signing off. Peace!